You tossed it in the trash, you tossed it in the trash, you did. Hi everyone, I'm Cornelius of Voice Studio East. I am an authorized CVT teacher, and I'm here today to talk about complete vocal technique. At the outset of this series, I gave an overview of the 4 modes. This time we will zone in on curbing in particular, and explore various aspects not covered in the overview. Curbing is a moderately metallic or reduced metallic mode with a restrained or contained character. This often makes it a good choice if we want to sound furtive, conflicted, or even pained. The principal vowels in curbing are u, o, and a, though the requisite characteristic of a curbing vowel is simply that it can be formed in a restrained or contained manner, which for most vowels means that they have to be notched slightly in the direction of a schwa, slurring them a little. Often, adding a bit of nasality is enough to make the vowel compatible with curbing. The easiest way to find curbing is to hold your voice back a little, like being about to make a point, but stopping yourself. We thus establish a hold that consists of gently squeezing the vocal folds together. From here, we can then proceed to sing through the hold, keeping it in place for the duration of the note. Oh! Another way to find curbing is to speak in a complaining or bemoaning manner, like, I don't wanna. This automatically gives you the curbing hold, as well as some twang that may help as you ascend in pitch. While ascending, it may be helpful to gradually transition from a heavy bemoaning quality to a bright whining quality with a larger mouth opening. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. You can also try using a creaking onset like this. This creaky sound should be associated with a slight activation of core musculature, which should be maintained throughout the note. It does not do, for example, to make a creaking onset and then let go of all the creak tension immediately after the onset. It should instead be kept in place so that a hint of it can be spotted in the timbre of the sustain. Regardless of the approach used, if the coordination seems stuck and unable to go higher, it could be because the hold is too intense, producing, in the extreme case, a sound that might be described as wheezing or constipated.
Youngsters these days have no respect. Whippersnapper!
While such an approach can still be taken high in pitch, it is harder to do so and does not result in the lighter sound typically associated with curbing. Hence, generally speaking, the hold should be kept quite light. If this results in cracking into falsetto, that is probably due to a lack of twang. Twang can be found in a myriad of ways, some of which were covered in the previous video. Those exercises were, however, selected with a view to finding edge. This time, we will focus on lighter sounds that will be more conducive to lighter coordinations. For example, we can try finding twang by making a crying sound, wah, wah, or by imitating a cat meowing, or even yowling. Try to make the sound sharp and piercing, almost like an alarm. Having found the twang, it is often helpful to proceed from there into some exercises from speech-level singing, or rather, some SLS-inspired exercises modified to be more accommodating of metallic singing and to hopefully get quicker results. In particular, I like to use this exercise. To make this work, first find a way to add twang to your voice, then establish the hold, and then sing this exercise at a fairly high speed with a high level of energy. It must not be done lazily like this. If the energy is not high enough, it may result in going flat or cracking into falsetto. In such a case, it is often helpful to increase the speed and extend the exercise, like this. If this is too difficult, or if it still winds up cracking, you can try an exercise on gug instead, making the G's fairly heavy and gargle-esque to encourage more vocal fold closure. Gug, 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 gug. This will encourage you to rely more on compression and less on twang, creating a sound capable of being darker, but which will also tend to be somewhat heavier and take more energy to produce. Ideally, you should develop enough versatility with your curbing to have great facility with both approaches, and with the whole spectrum in between. An entirely different way of finding curbing is to start from edge or overdrive at a medium loud volume and add a crying or sobbing quality, like this. Oh! This creates a sound with a character that is more contained than restrained, which is to say less harsh sounding, making it very suitable for musical theater, sentimental ballads, and so on. They say that the road ain't no place to start a family. Right down the line, it's been you and me. The sobbing or crying quality is not the essential feature. You can also find these coordinations by simply adding a hold to your edge and overdrive, making sure you're not starting at a volume too loud for curbing, since curbing cannot go as loud as edge and overdrive can. Among people more advanced in the complete vocal technique system, these techniques are sometimes referred to as edge in reduced density and overdrive in reduced density, rather than as curbing. This concept of density relates to the capacity for the vocal folds to stretch and thin without a change in pitch. When entering reduced density, the vocal folds are closed more tightly in the back, allowing them to stretch further while still being able to resist air pressure, thus avoiding a crack into falsetto. Reduced density may be seen as analogous to the SLS concept of mixed voice. It has a characteristically tender sound, like crying or wailing, but it can also be a happy sound, like crying tears of joy. Regardless, there will be a characteristic thinning of the sound and reduction in warmth when singing in reduced density. If we wish to sing with a soft tone but keep the fullness and warmth of fuller density, we will need neutral, which is the topic for next week. For now, we've reached the end of this video. If you have any questions, whether about curbing or about anything else, be sure to leave a comment below. Remember to like and subscribe for more content, and as always, thanks for watching.